I'm not going to sit here and tell you what a brilliant dad my dad was. All you need to know is that he was smart, loving, and had a wicked sense of humour. What's important for you to know is how his story ended and how one charity made that awful process a little bit easier. In 2016, my dad was diagnosed with kidney cancer. By 2018, it had spread to his lungs, his bones, and then his brain. In that year, he had brain surgery to try and remove the tumours. That Christmas, while I had my arm around him on the sofa, Dad had a series of violent seizures. He was in intensive care for days and then a ward after that. As he came round, we could tell there had been some damage. He was distressed and upset. The doctors started talking about palliative care, which is something you learn at the time, which means it's not a question of if, but when someone's going to die. They started talking about hospices and somewhere he could be more comfortable with 24-hour care. And we were so grateful that we managed to get a place at the Sue Ryder Duchess of Kent Hospice in Reading. Dad moved in and was cared for night and day by the nurses and doctors there. And not just care for him, but care for my family, my brother, my sister-in-law, and my mum, because we all needed to understand what was going on. And they made sure we didn't go through that alone. Dad was happy there for a bit, but he deteriorated and he was getting distressed and increasingly confused about where he was. What little speech he had left, he kept asking me and my family, why wasn't he home? And when could he go home? He didn't understand. And one night I sat down with the Sue Ryder team and I said, I think we need to get Dad home. This might be the last thing we can do for this man, and I want to give him that wish. And they rightfully explained to me that hospice places aren't easy to come by. They're funded almost entirely by your donations. And once he goes, they were telling me that he might not be able to come back. There just aren't enough spaces because there's not enough funding. Despite that, we made the decision to get Dad home. Within a few days, his condition had got significantly worse. And it was an experience beyond anything my family could cope with, and certainly beyond something he could cope with. And there was a bittersweet moment when even he realized that he couldn't be at home anymore. I think at that point he knew he'd never see his home again. We were desperate. We called the Sue Ryder Hospice with no expectation that they'd be able to find us a room. And by some miracle, and I still don't know how they did it, they managed to get Dad back into the same room that he'd been in before, giving him a sense of comfort. He was there for a number of days and the staff continued to be brilliant before I got a call and my mum said, I think I need to get there pretty quickly. I got a train back from London and I rushed through the door just as the nurse was monitoring his breathing. It changed quite rapidly, and it was at that point that she said, I'm going to give you some peace. She left the room and it was me, my mum, my sister and brother holding my dad's hands. He died with us around him. And I think as much comfort as you can die, having gone through what he went through. And that was possible because of the hospice. We're so grateful that we were there with him and in a place where he was cared for. That experience is one I never want other families to have to go through, but if it does come to you, you will be so grateful places like that exist, and they are funded almost entirely by donations from people like you. So I'm running the London Marathon this year for Sue Ryder because I want to make sure other families can experience that comfort, and they need the funding. It costs £16,000 a day to run a hospice like that, and with only a third of that funding coming from the government, the rest of it is from donations from people like you and me. If you can donate anything at all to help that cause, please click the link below. Do it for me, do it for the next family that might need this care, and do it for my dad, Roger Joseph Allen. I'll be thinking of him every step of the way.